All right, I'll tell you when I think we are. All right, we are live. So hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, Wine and Whatever Wednesday. I'm Kristen with Papapietro Perry Winery. Oh, I should do that today. Obviously, we got Ben Papapietro with us. He is all things Papapietro Perry. But we're really cool. We have got rum. KōHana Rum is here with us today. And you're probably asking yourself, what the heck does rum have anything to do with wine? So we're going to get to that, which is really cool. We sent you guys wine. You guys sent us rum. This is why we're in this business. But we're opening up our 2017 Peters Vineyard today and our 2017 Russian River Vineyard today. And then we've got a couple rums. I've got a rum. Ben's got a couple rums. You guys probably have 8 million rums around with you guys. But welcome. Oh, and Ben's already opened his chocolate. Is that you? Sneaky.
Well, no, somebody ate it. I mean, they gave it to me with some. Like the ears were eaten off of it.
And look at my rum was given to me with some missing too. There's a thief in our midst. Hopefully you guys got wine that wasn't already opened.
Oh yeah. Well, I bought some on the side, so these got left alone. These stayed in my wine fridge, and I consumed the other portion.
Perfect. Well, let's consume some more.
So
this is Tiffany and Kyle,
yes.
Correct? With KōHana Rum, welcome. Let's all have a sip of wine because I know I need it right now. So 2017 Russian River Valley, is what I'm going to start with. So, I was way ahead of you. I already had poured mine. So as everybody out there knows, we make 10 different rums. I'm going to give the sneak peek. Actually, Ben, Kyle, somebody tell me, why are we doing rum?
We are doing rum because while making rum, you get the opportunity to age it. Now and then we run across amazing humans that have access to seasoned casks, as we'll call them. You folks were kind enough to share a couple Pinot Noir casks with us through a dear friend of ours, James. And we have been finishing some of our rums in Pinot Noir barrels from Healdsburg's finest at Papapietro.
Well, there we go. And Ben, did you hand deliver the barrels or the casks, as you guys call them? Because if you need more, I'm happy to deliver them.
No, but I am going to make a journey there in November. I think my wife and I are going to go and spend a little time on Oahu before we make it over to Maui. So, but awesome. James Gargan is one of our club members, and he's our connection between the rum producers and the Pinot producers. Yes. And he told me his friends in Hawaii were interested in some barrels. So he made it happen. He has a freight pouring ability. And so we loaded a couple of barrels on his truck, and he ended up getting them to Hawaii, which was amazing.
Yes. So the rum that we're going to taste has been aged in some of our barrels, which brings us full circle, which is amazing because 90% of our Pinot Noir, if not more, I don't know the numbers, is aged in the barrels because it's all Russian River Valley. So we thought Russian River Valley, we would try that wine first. Blend of 5 vineyards. Ben, your daughters are on, my sister's on. I love this little family connection we have going on. But you want to tell us a little bit about the Russian River Valley?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all the vineyards that we work with in the Russian River. So it's the one wine that we produce every year that's a little bit different. The vineyard designates are pretty much from the same rows, from the same vineyards we work with year in and year out. But the Russian River and the Sonoma Coast are kind of a blend of all those different parts. And the parts are always a little bit different every year. So it's the one that I get to play with the palate the most with. It can be different, but it's always really right in that zone of Russian River Pinot Noir. A lot of complexity.
Yeah, it's drinking beautifully. And the interesting thing, which I don't know who out there is listening to us, how much you know about rum, but this is not your Captain Morgan's. This is not your Bacardi. This is not your Pina Colada rum, is what I like to say. This is rum agricole, which is a very different style of rum. And the rum is made from sugarcane. And sugarcane is harvested once a year, correct? Very good. I'm glad you keep agreeing, so I know I'm telling the truth. Sugarcane is harvested once a year, which is very similar to winemaking. The Bacardis, the Meyers, the Captain Morgans are made from molasses, but you can make it anytime because it's made from molasses where you need sugarcane. So tell me a little bit about the similarities, I guess, between the rum and the wine producing.
So we compare ourselves much more frequently to vintners and our winemaking friends the world over, as opposed to spirits producers. And the biggest reason is spirits producers generally act in a commodity space. A lot of times it's something that, if it's corn, maybe it was subsidized by the US government before bourbon makers got it. Or if it's rum, you've already made granulated table sugar and you're getting this byproduct of molasses to use it. So for us, using a natural product, not dissimilar to our friends in Cognac or Armagnac, but it's really dissimilar from most of the world's spirits. So we care, everything we do here, we farm ourselves. So it's way more in touch with treating cane like a fruit, as opposed to treating cane like a commodity crop of something you can just order off the back of a tanker truck and go from there. So really, in so many ways, we're like our friends at Papapietro. The focus on Pinot Noir would be like how we focus on single varietals of sugarcane as well. So like, if you look at the side of your bottle, and we'll get into it when we taste the rum later, but you'll see when it was harvested you won't see when it was harvested, you'll see what finish and what cane varietal. For our white rums, you actually see when it was harvested. So we're really tuned in there. Now, for our Cacao and Honey Rum, we won't do that because it's actually a blend of different varietals, but for everything else, it's single varietal.
So this is a single, so it's a single varietal, kind of like Pinot Noir is a single varietal grape. Yeah. Are there clones of these single varietals? Oh, there are, just like there's clones of Pinot.
So if we really want to trace it back, we only grow heirloom varietals of Hawaiian cane, so what are known as canoe crops. So things that literally traveled over here with the first humans. Before people got here at around 1000 AD, there was only stuff brought via the 3 W's, wind, wings, and waves. So there wasn't a lot here, right, for sustenance. There weren't starchy crops like potatoes or kalo. There wasn't sugarcane. So all these canoe crops came over with the first Hawaiians. That's what we grow. Not dissimilar to the original vines that you'll find, all across the world. From there, people started hybridizing, they started changing, and then there were also natural mutations. So really, really interesting history as it relates to sugarcane.
So sugarcane, one of the things we've noticed in Hawaii is that pretty much they're done with sugarcane. And it isn't the small producers like yourself that have really brought back the original heritage clone types that they probably wouldn't exist on the island any longer, which is really a shame. But when we go to Maui all the time, in a huge area between the one side of the island and the other, all used to be sugarcane, and now there's none. Yeah. So saving those heritage clones and those original clones is really amazing. And you mentioned how they mutate, pretty much similar to our Pomard clone, which and Pinot's usually is the most active one that produces the most changes, and then they change wherever they're grown, and they keep producing new ones. So it's amazing, and I know that sugarcane does the same.
Yeah, Pinot is one of the oldest grapes, I'm being told, over here. So I'm going to take his
word. The Romans grew it in France for over 2,000 years ago.
So. And normally you think of rum from the Caribbean. Yeah. Correct, versus Hawaii. How long's Hawaii been producing rums?
So Hawaii has been producing rums for less than 50 years. It has been growing sugarcane for plantations for 200 and growing sugarcane for medicinal and religious reasons since 1000 AD. So you've got to think, Hawaiian sugarcane predates the Caribbean by about 500 years, but rum production lags the Caribbean by 450. So we've got this big space where cane wasn't turned into rum. So we've kind of got this blue ocean opportunity that's like, let's return to these ancient crops, but do it in a modern way. So there's this really fun juxtaposition that we're able to kind of play with.
That is actually cool. Seth is saying aloha from Continental Craftsman, by the way. And Jeff is asking, I think you must have said cacao rum. He's like, what? Hold on. Yeah. Jeff is Volo Chocolate. We work with him with chocolates. So you have a cacao run, and you said a honey rum?
So it's a cacao and honey. Oh, actually, I've talked so much. I have to let Tiffany explain what the cocoa.
She can talk?
Yeah. Sorry, I get going. It's my bad.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's opposite. So no, you guys both got some. Oh, he has it. So the cocoa leca rum. Cocoa leca means chocolate in Hawaiian. So this is our collaboration with a couple other local farms. Hawaiian grown cacao, which Hawaii is the only state in the U.S. that can grow cacao. So it's Hawaiian grown cacao and Hawaiian macadamia nut blossom honey that we sweeten it up with. And then, of course, our sugarcane rum base.
It's delicious.
I wouldn't know.
Ben's got it.
Ben's got it. I know. His name is on our bottle, so I figured he should probably have the cacao rum.
To talk a little bit to the chocolatier that's on here, once we've infused the rum, we then give those cacao nibs to Manoa Chocolate, and those are the chocolate bars you guys have. So we're not wasting any of that delicious locally grown cacao. It's actually now infused with our rum. They dry it and make these fantastic chocolate bars. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I know they get their cacao from Haiti and Guatemala. I don't think I knew Hawaii did cacao either. I'm learning all kinds of stuff over here.
Well, that's the old axiom: waste not, want not. You know.
Exactly.
I agree with you. So talk to me about terroir. Does the terroir? Geez, Mike, I'm so embarrassed.
That's what happens when you drink rum and Pinot together.
I haven't even started. Does the terroir exist for sugarcane similar to it does? It's extremely important for wine, of course. Does it exist for sugarcane? Can I grow sugarcane?
Yes.
Good.
So sugarcane, it absolutely does. With us, my grandmother would say, the proof in the pudding is in the eating. So until you try it, you don't really understand how it actually works. But we have fields in Waialua near the North Shore. We have another 180 acres that we just acquired in Haleiwa near the North Shore. But our principal farm is in central Oahu, an area called Kunia, a very rich agricultural area, but nowhere near any sort of ocean. So we don't get any like salinic trade breezes or anything like that. But in our Waialua fields, you end up with this fantastic salinity and a little bit different soil composition. So, as everybody knows that cares a lot about wine, soil is going to end up playing a huge role in it. Not just the terroir-driven side, but also just your nutrient densities and things like that. So whether we're in Waialua or Kunia, you get a totally different rum. I can't even speak to the difference between Martinique, which is like Big Brother Agricole down in the Caribbean, versus Hawaii. Different ages for the islands, different everything. So a really phenomenal difference just in soil quality, and that's going to lead to terroir.
So you have some volcanic soils, I'm sure.
100%. Yeah.
The terroir only comes through in the rum agricole, correct? Not the molasses rum.
It would be really hard for you to convince me that after boiling, bleaching, and accessing all the sugars you can, and then getting molasses as the waste product, that you truly get a terroir-driven thing. I'm not saying no, I just don't have the palate for it. I don't get the difference.
I would believe that. And our HUM rum, is that just like a champagne, like it's only the Caribbean rum?
Exactly. So it's controlled by the French government. So the only place that can call it rum agricole, RHUM agricole, is the island rums that are made on the island of Martinique to their designations, not differently than Colombert, Champagne, the different, French sort of idiosyncratic, like things that belong to them. Almost exclusively place-based. Yeah.
I read an article recently. They want to try to trademark the name Pinot Noir and all these. Good luck. I know. Good luck. But
Best of luck.
That's the French for you. Sorry, French people out there. Can't have some of these names. Hey, is there alcohol in this chocolate?
There is not. So it's been dried out and then processed. So there's no
It's
booze.
delicious, but it tastes like there's a little rum in here.
It's got the rum flavors.
It does have the rum flavors. It's actually it's absolutely amazing. What do you guys think of the Russian River Valley Pinot?
So I love it. I think it's great. And I like how Ben talked about sort of the ability to sort of use a palette, like as in the brush, the different types of things that can happen in this wine are really, really fun. I also, I tend to gravitate towards things that are more earth driven. And even in this bright Pinot Noir, this has real wine in it, which makes me just so happy. I hope, you know what I mean? Like it's from a place. And that
Next time we'll have to leave a little wine in the barrel when we send it to you.
So we have we set some wine with it next time, in a bottle.
Yes.
So the Russian River is the combination of many, and the Peters, which is the next wine we'll taste, is a single site which grows 4 different clones that we use. And when we get the clones in, we keep each clone separately, age it through spring, and then when we do our blending trials, we put the different clones back together to best represent the whole part of that vineyard. But it's a blending technique that we use. We keep all the different parts separate, and then we can add different flavors and different textures to it by blending the different clones into it. And the parts that are left over is what we use in the Russian River Valley, and that's with every one of the vineyard descendants that we make. So we'll just go quickly to the Peters Vineyard, and this is the one vineyard that's very high on a area south of Sebastopol. That's in a area that gets a lot of fog after around 3:30 in the afternoon. The wind comes up, and the marine influence pushes through. We have this mechanism that takes the fog through this vineyard and along across 101, and it takes it across the Petaluma Mountains and brings it to the northern part of San Francisco Bay. So it has a totally different weather situation than most of the Russian River Valley fruit. So we're going to taste this one.
We're going to taste this one. I'm tasting this one. Are there a lot of different sugarcane varietals? You said they're like, yes, Kristen. Yes.
So in our collection alone, we have 34 genetically different sugar canes that we're growing.
How many acres?
What was that?
How many
30.
acres?
Our total farm right now, we're planting 45 more acres, so we're about to double in size. We're just over 45 acres. We're at about 47, and we're adding 45 more. And then on our North Shore farm, we have access to another 160 or so. So we have this is a very significant growth year for KōHana. So it's pretty crazy. Right now we have, as Tiffany was saying, about 34 varietals of cane as far as like actual genetic uniqueness and proper Hawaiian origin. I say that very specifically because there are 91 different names for those 34 plants. So if you're thinking scientifically versus culturally, you have to be willing to say, I'm not the guy to pick between the name they called it on Maui or Lanai or our island. So we keep all of the names alive, but we know scientifically there's really 34. And it's just this interesting, I had somebody define it recently as like a Hawaiian guy that was talking to me, and he's like, it's just this like, respecting that is really nice from like this indigenous intelligence angle, which I think is great. So we talk about it some, But if you want to talk about how many canes there are in the world, our land right now has the highest yield that ever happened during plantation era times. They were able to get about 55 tons of sugarcane off of an acre.
55 tons.
And how many tons, wait, Ben, how many tons can we get off an acre for grapes?
Well, we try to target 3 tons, and that was a line of questioning I was going to ask you, is because for us, the 3 tons per acre is really what you look for Pinot Noir. Yeah. And that gives us about 150 gallons of wine finished after we process 1 ton of fruit. So we know specifically how much we get from a ton. And I was going to ask you if you can make that calculation on sugarcane.
For sure. So everything, the end product's all going to be based on what it becomes. So our Coco Leca is bottled at 30% alcohol, whereas the Kila finished in your Pinot Noir barrels is bottled at 57. So obviously there's a huge difference in what it is. But if we look at the picture as a whole, we get about 32 tons per acre on our acreage right now. So we're not record setting. That's for the plantation era guys. We're looking for other flavors and different varietals. That 32 tons will give us somewhere in the realm of 4,000 gallons of juice, which will give us about 400 proof gallons. So it's about 400 cases per acre that we can make, which is, you're talking, 3 tons per acre. It's going to take you a lot more acreage to do that amount of cases. In the rum world, we are like wasting tons of space according to everybody. Like we do it in like the most precious way possible, and that's 32 tons. Guys out there would lose their mind at our inefficiency, which I would call quality.
Yeah. When they grew fruit, they can grow like 8 tons an acre, and they sell it to Gallo and make jug wine. But to make quality, we figure about 450 gallons per acre is what we'll produce at 3 tons an acre. So all the different varietals of sugarcane, is that a blend, or do you keep the separate sugar? You keep the sugarcane separate?
Yeah, so no meritage for us, no blending of canes except for in the Coco Leca. Everything else is a single varietal. So when you look at the side of our bottles, there'll be harvest date, white rums, there'll be cask finish, and then you'll see what varietal is inside. So in the Kila, which means strength, that's finished in the Papapietro Pinot Noir barrels, it's all made from a cane called Manulele, which is our sort of favorite cane. And Robert Dawson, our co-founder, the first cane he really fell in love with. And Robert wishes he could be here today. He may be tuning in on Facebook Live, but he had to take care of his son had a little surgery today, so he couldn't be here.
Well, we hope it all goes really well, knowing a little bit about surgery.
Yeah.
Ben just had surgery. So I want to taste the rum.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on to rum right now.
Oh, Yolanda wants to know, do you guys do tastings like we do in Healdsburg? You can come visit and do tastings? Yeah.
Yeah, so the gentleman I was just talking about, Robert, he actually helped to get some new legislation pushed through about 7 years ago to allow us, and we're the first licensed spirit tasting room on the island of Oahu. So we do tours and tastings every day. Our numbers here are very good. Obviously, Tiff and I are both vaccinated. So if anybody's at home wondering why their coworkers are so close together, fully vaccinated, happy guys. And we're able to show folks around. Obviously, these times it's a little different. We can only have 10 people in our shop at a time, but we do it pretty well. And it's fun to be able to show people a piece of Hawaii, because you can walk through our cane garden, see every type of sugar cane. You can come into the barrel house. You wander through big windows on our distillery. It's a really fun spot. And yeah, it's not dissimilar to the love that folks get in California for the wine tours. We're trying to turn Hawaii into a rum tour destination.
Well, Laurel Stewart.
I actually have been to another rum producer in Maui, which was a nice operation, and they grow heritage clone cane also, which was very interesting to walk around the.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've experienced that, and I'm really looking forward to come and visiting you guys in November. You'll hear it to me before that.
Me too now. Laurel Stewart just said she did a tour and tasting with you guys 2 weeks ago, and it was wonderful.
That makes me so happy.
So good job, Laurel. Okay, so I have a couple quick questions here. So number one, you sent us these amazing little glasses. Oh, James Gargan's on. James, you're the reason we're all here, by the way.
James.
Hi, James. So you sent us these cute glasses. So a couple quick questions. Number one, is there a specific glass or way to drink rum agricole? Number two, cold over ice, frozen as a slushie. What's the best way to drink rum agricole? And then there you go. Those are my questions.
I mean, I think all of the above, because we're not rum snobs, so drink it how you want to. But
it smells amazing.
I personally prefer like the barrel aged rums to be drunk just how they are, just neat or over ice.
I like a little papaya, pineapple, mango refresher with rum. Every time I go to the island, that's my choice for cooling by the pool or by the ocean.
Yeah, even for people that grow up here, escaping to a neighbor island and having a pina colada, that's a real thing. I mean, there's nothing that starts a vacation like a Mai Tai or a pina colada. And if you use better rum, chances are you're going to have a better drink. So we're all about that.
Would you use this in a pina colada?
I wouldn't, but I'm not going to be mad at somebody that does.
Fine with me. It's more the sipping rum is what I was thinking. Have you heard of a tea punch?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, tell us what a tea punch is, because they're amazing. That's how you start a vacation, right?
I don't disagree with that. So I visited Martinique last 7 years ago, and it's a Martinique drink. It's the national drink of Martinique, tea punch, which is short. It's Creole slang for petite punch, and it's just that. It's just a small punch, a little pick me up. So I get told this all the time by my Martinique rum friends that their farmers drink one to start the day, they drink one at lunch, and they drink two at the end of the day, which is more than I can handle, but I appreciate them, those farmers. All it is really great rum in a glass with a squeeze of lime and a touch of sugarcane. The Martinique folks don't use any ice. We Americanize it by adding some ice, but they just drink it out room temperature, if you will, field temperature, mix it together and chug a lug. I think a petit punch, a tea punch is like amongst the world's greatest things, but it brings me to a place. So I can say this, for anybody who's drinking our rum that has a history of understanding great Pinot Noirs, like what you folks make, there is a different way of really accessing those flavors, right? Because we're looking at wines that are in the teens for alcohol percentage versus things that are at 57 to 60% for our cask strength. What you have to remember is if you go in like with the wine and you're really making those volatiles pop, trying to swirl it, digging your nose really deeply in there, you're going to dull your senses. So if you go in like and sniff it, I can do that. I mean, I'm part pirate, right? But you know, it's going to make your eyes dull, and it's going to make your palate just shut down. Whereas with the wine, you want to. If you want to get in there and really bring it to you. The key to drinking spirits, whether it's sipping mezcal in Oaxaca, cognac in France, or rum agricole in Hawaii, you open your mouth just a touch, and let those vapors have somewhere to escape, you can taste a whole lot more.
Oh, that's interesting.
So as a Scotch drinker, we use a drip or two of branch water.
For sure.
Just a drop, and that allows you to pick up everything that it offers, and just cuts down just enough to sip it.
What is branch water?
Well, it's just supposed to be the very clean water or something, but
where can you buy that? Oh, got it. A little bit of water. All right, got it.
And it's funny because like there's an old drink called a bourbon and branch. That's bourbon and branch water.
Yeah.
There's a phenomenal bar in San Francisco called that. And that's the only reason why I know what branch water is.
Oh, I'm learning so much. I love it. So you can ship, correct? You can ship everywhere?
We can, and for anybody who's watching today, we were selling out of this rum too fast. So I pulled it from our front of house and we saved 5 cases for anybody who may want it. And I just put it back online right before we went live. So there are about 45 bottles left of our Kila finished in Papapietro casks.
Papapietro Perry white barrels. I love it. Where does the name KōHana come from?
So KōHana means the work of the sugarcane. Sorry.
Hi, Tiffany, where does the word KōHana come from?
I like just drinking on the side.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So ko in Hawaiian is sugar cane, and hana means work. So it's the work of the cane.
I like that. And the
video, James' son sent us the video that you guys did of the cellar that showed our barrels in your lineup, which was pretty cool. You got to take out of that.
Every
I didn't see that.
they point out, because we have James has constructed, who we've talked about a couple times, has constructed with Seth, one of his co-owners of a wood shop here. They've made KōHA wine barrels. So we've got KōHA wine barrels sitting or KōHA wood barrels sitting next to Papapietro Perry wine casks. And it's like, it's the end of the cask row. So everybody's like, wait, but what like, it's pretty cool.
So you can make barrels out of KōHA wood?
They did.
Yeah. Nobody knew that before, but James and Seth made it happen.
I love it. That's
What's the legacy initiative?
What's the legacy initiative? Am I saying that right?
Legacy Forest.
Legacy Forest.
So it's a reforestation effort. So essentially, nothing that Seth and James make is from cut trees. So we're not cutting down any KōHA trees. It's all from fallen wood. So they're really doing something pretty cool. In addition to that, we are planting more KōHA to help the reforestation. For folks that don't know, KōHA is an endemic hardwood to Hawaii. It's really famous for like ukulele making and bowls, but as far as its need, forests are really, really important, and they kind of got pushed to the side for a long time. So there's a lot of effort here trying to reforest some of our areas. So we've been planting hundreds of KōHA trees per barrel that we get in an effort to do that. So our new farmland has helped us a little bit. The Hawaii Legacy Forest, I'm gonna forget their whole acronym thing, but phenomenal people that allowed us a chance to plant some trees in honor of the very first term. So
it probably has lots of A's and K's in it. Well, Earth Day is tomorrow, right? So we've got reforestation, reusing wine barrels, wine casks, I think is awesome. This is delicious. This smells amazing too. It's got that little brown sugar. It's got a little bit of that smokiness to it. I love it.
Did we talk about, this is our cask strength rum too?
No, talk about it.
We don't proof it after we've emptied the barrel. It's straight out of the barrel. This one, we handwrite in the ABV, so it's 57.2% alcohol.
Yeah, let them know what proofing is.
Yeah, so proofing is adding water, basically.
Yeah. So usually for spirits, you would add water, or you would backfill with another portion of a distillate that was maybe a lower proof to try to get you to where everything's consistently, like our white rum is all 40% alcohol. Well, that we use fresh Hawaiian water and bring down our spirit to that perfect level, right? When you're making a wine, you don't do that. You're making the wine to where it needs to be. This cask strength offering is exactly our spirit, completely unamended, even by water, which is a really fun thing to be able to experience, and why adding a couple drops of water really helps to access some of those flavors.
Kind of opens them up too as well. This
Yeah,
is fascinating.
it's a well-known technique for Scotch drinkers. Is that a little bit of water really really makes a difference. You can really approach sometimes it's a bit harsh on because the alcohol level. You just drop that just a little bit, and you access all the flavors, and it just covers the palate.
Yeah.
Well, people will ask for like 1 cube, right? They'll order a drink with 1 ice cube, and
I
that's
would do it. That's a little bit heavy, but a half cube.
maybe a half cube. If I ever worked in the restaurant and you came in and ordered a half cube, I'm not telling you what else you'll get inside your cup of whatever. What's that? So Angel Share. Do you guys have Angel Share? Angel Share out there is the amount of wine and what that evaporates off in the barrels. We call it the Angel Share. I assume the Angels are hitting you guys up for rum as well.
I'll let the angel talk about the Angel Share.
Oh, well played.
So in our barrel house, it's not climate controlled in any way. So we're just letting the warmth of Hawaii really do its thing. So we lose about anywhere from 12 to 15% to the Angel Share, which is pretty significant.
So how long do you age your spirits?
So it could be anywhere. We age by taste, not by time. So we don't focus on we always have a 5-year, a 2-year, a 7-year, So we're literally tasting the barrels after a year or two and determining whether or not we think it's ready to bottle. So
we have kind of a minimum, which is 2 years. But if something's splendid and we want to share it, we'll make an exception. But we have kind of a minimum of 2 years in some sort of barrel. Now that we have more than oak, I have to amend my language. But yeah, like there are, and I'm sure this is not dissimilar to wine. Spirits come in waves. So what will happen is as the wood and spirit are really interacting with each other along with oxygen, you're going to have these high points of like, wow, this thing tastes really phenomenal. So we have this fun moment right at about 15 months that's like 90% of the way there. You're like, oh, this is perfect. It's only like, and then it just drops. And there's just, at 17 months, you're like, that's not even the same spirit. What happened? And then somewhere later, whether it's 2 years or 3 years or even further, it comes back and it's really now what it was at 15 months. It has like filled the rest of that 100% of what it could be, which is really great.
Do you taste throughout the aging process?
All the time. Yeah.
And then how long can this last? I mean, is there a 5 to 7 year window like we say, or will it get better?
So it is shelf stable. It should last forever. I will say with wine finished, rums, scotches, cognacs, whatever it may be that has been finished in rum or in wine, that if you drain a bottle down below about 50%, it is going to start to degrade a little bit. It takes a really long time for it to make a measurable difference. Okay. But once you get past half a bottle, you should either put it in another bottle or a decanter that has less oxygen space so that it's really getting messed with, or drink it
faster.
Yeah.
Or just drink it.
Yeah.
But drink it, order more.
It's meant to be shelf stable, but the truth is every spirit, if left long enough, will degrade a little bit. Oxygen does work on it.
All right, Dave just ordered some. So Dave, you can let us know. He ordered the cask strength and the barrel age. So KōHana, a couple last questions. I got to wrap it up. How long has KōHana been around?
Oh, we started in 2009 as an idea and a farm. And according to the U.S. government, we started distilling in 2014.
We talk about, well, since we're on record, we'll go with 2014. Yeah. I think Ben and Bruce started on a cocktail napkin, right, you guys?
Well, the idea of the commercial winery started on a napkin. It did. And Bruce was assured that we were going to make it, and I was not so assured.
And Bruce was right. And by the way, it's Bruce's birthday today. Happy birthday, Bruce.
My partner, Bruce.
Bruce Perry's.
We worked together for over 35 years, and and we were business partners. Well, he joined me in '85, and '98 we started our winery, and we've been partners ever since.
Very awesome.
Amazing. All right, now, so I'm going to wrap it up. So anyways, you can purchase. I think we put the link to purchase on this thread, or KōHanaRum.com, right?
Yep.
It's delicious. It's actually delicious. I'm a huge fan.
Awesome.
And the chocolate's really great too. Amazing. But thank you so much for joining us. We invite you to come out and visit us, of course. We'll work our way to come visit you guys. I think we have plenty of more rum and wine to drink together in our future. But we are thrilled you guys used our barrels. That's absolutely super cool. Thrilled you could join us today, share our wine, share your story, and delicious, amazing. Thank you. Cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
Happy Wednesday, happy Earth Day. Oh, we have lots of virtual events coming up, of course. We've got Magic, Wine and Salumi. We've got Wine, Cheese, Chocolate. We have Big Cheese. June 4th is National Cheese Day, so why not eat cheese with us? Oh, wait, who made your distillation column?
Every day is National Cheese Day, first of all.
I like that.
That's the tower right behind him.
The distillation tower. Who made that?
So this, and it's great because this is actually new. We just finished putting in a dual column system this last weekend, but this was all made by Steve Cage, who runs a company called Cage and Sons. And then make sure you get a little bit of get the helmet in there too, if you don't mind. Yeah. So behind me, this is actually the part that does most of the heavy lifting for us. And this was made, engineered, constructed by Steve Cage of Cage and Sons out of Alberta, Canada. He used to be in Alabama, and now he's in Canada. So
I think that's our Nunes family has one like that.
Nunes is on. That is absolutely beautiful. Well, you guys were great. This was a lot of fun. I look forward to meeting you guys someday. So, thank you. And Tiffany, don't talk so much next time. I'm kidding. Totally Kyle's fault. I get it.
Robert, we hope that we'll see him when we do come and visit.